Good evening. Welcome back to Bald Feather Bets, guys. We are going to give this pick for the Seattle and the San Francisco divisional game. I'm going to be a little bit quicker about it, spend a little bit less time on analysis. I know most of you guys will end up watching this video in that short amount of window time that you have in between this Bills-Broncos game and then the 49ers Seahawks game, which is going to be here probably in about 30-ish minutes because we got 9 minutes and 30 seconds left in this Bills-Broncos game. Bills with the ball up by 1, 2nd and 4. All I can say is let James cook because it's been very frustrating when the Bills have not handed the ball off considering they're gashing the Broncos today. Told you guys, the Broncos' run defense was number 2, but there was a very big gap between them and the Jaguars at number 1, just like schematically what they do. Okay. This line got all the way up to 7.5. You're now seeing 7, 6.5, and 6. Sharps, people who wake up public and just decide to bet the game for $10 right before it's kicked off. Your mom, your grandmother, your dad, the Pope. Everybody thinks this is free money with San Francisco. I understand the notion, especially given you got Sam Darnold on one side and there was injury news with him. And I understand the notion given Kyle Shanahan and his record in the playoffs and making it to a championship game. So these two teams have played twice, obviously, because they're divisional opponents. 17-13 win in Week 1 for San Francisco, 13-3 win for Seattle in the final week of the regular season. First game was at Seattle, second game was at San Francisco. So Seattle scored 13 in both those games. Their expected scoring was higher. So they did more on offense than they actually ended up getting in terms of score. San Francisco down almost every single linebacker. They're getting thin in the secondary. They're thin at defensive line. They're thin on offense now with the loss of Kittle. Trent Williams is going to play. Ricky Pearsall, your guess is as good as mine with this guy. I have no idea, honestly. I'm not going to trust that he's going to play, nor am I really going to put too much stock into him not playing. San Francisco having a really difficult time manufacturing offense right now with how much they have out, especially with Kittle. So if you watch them play, I talked about in the divisional round preview, but essentially their offense runs through – sorry, big play. Their offense runs through Kyle Juszczyk and George Kittle, and I don't mean that the ball always finds them. I mean that where the ball is going and the blocking schemes are always with them, and then the ball does find them off of those things often. You take away one half of that, Juszczyk is not quite as effective in actually having the ball in his hands as George Kittle is, obviously. San Francisco needed that trick play to really manufacture offense against the Eagles, and you did see those 2 picks from Purdy, right? Where Quinyon Mitchell stepped in front. If Purdy does that today against Seattle, they're not going to be able to overcome that because Seattle's defense is just, they're unbelievable. We're talking truly the best team in the NFL. When it comes to Seattle. By DVOA, they're one of the better teams in the past history. This game essentially comes down to what will Seattle get offensively because Seattle is going to hold San Francisco to a small number of points. If they only get 13 points offensively, is Seattle going to hold San Francisco to 6 points or less? That I don't know. But with what's happening with San Francisco's defense and how elevated they've been playing recently, it's very difficult to imagine that San Francisco is going to continue to be able to muster that much out of their defense. I am not adjusting this line really for the Sam Darnold injury. I actually wouldn't even have adjusted it that much if Drew Lock played. This game is really going to come down to Seattle running the ball with Charbonnet and Walker, and then play action off of that and slot fades to Jackson Smith and Jigba, etc. I think the 12s come in big here. I like this home field probably more than any other home field left in the playoffs now that the Eagles are out. And with that, guys, we've been on Seattle as one of the best teams in the NFL all year, and I'm not coming off of it on divisional weekend. So we're riding with Seattle -6, and we're doing that one for 3 units. Hopefully this Bills game finishes in our favor. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your night. We'll be back at you again tomorrow with our 2 picks for divisional round Sunday. Hopefully we can do those in one video. It's just the injury news today. We needed to wait like right up until kickoff with both these games just to make sure to put them in. Appreciate you guys, and let's go Bills, and let's go Seahawks.